Good evening, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Green, the president of the AIA, and I'd like to welcome you all to the 2024 AIA Awards Ceremony. Tonight, we have the distinct pleasure of recognizing individuals and groups who've made outstanding contributions to the field of archaeology. I look forward to sharing more about their exceptional work with you and to celebrating their achievements with our in-person and our virtual attendees. Before I get started, I want to let you know that tonight's event is being recorded on Zoom. The recording will be shared on the AIA's YouTube channel at a later date. So now, without further ado, I'd like to invite Omar Harmanshaw, our Vice President for Cultural Heritage, to present the first two awards, beginning with the Outstanding Public Service Award.
Thank you. The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present the 2024 Outstanding Public Service Award to the law firm of Kaplan, Kirsch, and Rockwell for representing the AIA along with the American Anthropological Association and Society for American Archaeology in litigation concerning the Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante national monuments in Utah on a pro bono basis since 2018. They, and in particular their attorneys, Sarah Judkins and Lori Potter, have pursued the cause of preservation selflessly and tenaciously over countless hours during the past 6 years. And the outcome of ongoing litigation will determine, in large measure, the extent of archaeological protection that can be achieved through the 1906 Antiquities Act. The ability of the three archaeological organizations to have our voices heard and our fundamental policy of protecting archaeological heritage furthered is due to the efforts of Kaplan, Kirsch, and Rockwell and its attorneys, and for this, we find the firm to be a worthy recipient of the Archaeological Institute of America's 2024 Outstanding Public Service Award. Please join me in congratulating the law firm of Kaplan, Kirsch, and Rockwell.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Judkins with Kaplan, Kirsch, and Rockwell, a law firm based in Denver. We have the privilege of representing AIA in defending President Biden's reinstatement of the boundaries of Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante national monuments in southeastern Utah. These national monuments were established to protect some of the most extraordinary archaeological and cultural resources in the United States. These lands have been subject of extensive archaeological research going back over 100 years, but of course, researchers have only scratched the surface of what can be learned from these lands. As you may know, the Trump administration purported to reduce the boundaries of these two national monuments in 2017, which would have excluded hundreds of thousands of acres that are rich in archaeological and cultural resources. Subsequently, President Biden in 2021 reinstated the original boundaries, and it is this decision that is under attack from the state of Utah and others. This case is critical to protecting the invaluable resources in the national monuments, as well as defending the president's authority more broadly to establish national monuments under the Antiquities Act. We are very grateful to have been chosen for AIA's Outstanding Public Service Award, and on behalf of the team at Kaplan Kirsch, I'm honored to accept this award. Thank you.
In recognition of its distinguished contributions to the advancement of digital archaeology, the Archaeological Institute of America is proud to grant the 2024 Award for Outstanding Work in Digital Archaeology to the project A Cemetery and Quarry from Imperial Gabi, edited by Dr. Laura Banducci and Ms. Anna Gallone. This is a hybrid volume that explores the close but sometimes tense relationship between where people lived, worked, traded, and buried their dead, highlighting how the distinction between spaces of the living and spaces of the dead was not so clear-cut. The open access book is structured in a layered format, with a descriptive narrative raising features and their interpretation, and stratigraphy and technical reports. The groundbreaking interactive section that complements the narrative text includes 3D models, descriptions, and links to the online database. Users can freely access the 3D model of the site and explore details about each stratigraphic unit, including links to related stratigraphic units, photos, various types of finds, and interpretive description of the human activities associated with each unit. For this courageous and innovative work, the Archaeological Institute of America is proud to present the 2024 Award for Outstanding Work in Digital Archaeology to a cemetery and quarry from Imperial Gabi. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Laura Banducci and Anna Galone.
Anna and I would like to thank the AIA for this great honor. The digital methods of the Gabi project have been a huge collaborative effort, which have been in development since we started excavating the site in 2009. We are continually refining our digital recording, mapping, and dissemination methods as our excavations progress, with the ultimate aim of having our findings be accessible to our scholarly colleagues and to the public. This volume, the second in a series of final excavation reports, would not have been possible without the support of Nick Terrenato and the vision and technological skills of Rachel Opitz, Tyler Johnson, and Matt Naglak. We would also like to acknowledge and congratulate the 31 other authors who contributed text within the 3D model, substantive chapters, and object descriptions. This award is also theirs. Thank you also to the team of the University of Michigan Press for working through the many technical and editorial details of this monumental publication effort. Financial support was provided by the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation and the Humanities Collaboratory at the University of Michigan. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Omar, for presenting these awards, and congratulations to Kaplan, Kirsch, and Rockwell, and Dr. Banducci and Ms. Galone. I now want to invite Laura Rich, Vice President for Outreach and Education, to present the next award.
Thank you, Liz. Good evening, everyone. This year, the Archaeological Institute of America and the Center for American Archaeology are pleased to present both a winner and an honorable mention for the 2024 Felicia A. Holton Book Award, which is awarded to a major work of archaeological nonfiction written for the general public. The Archaeological Institute of America and the Center for American Archaeology are pleased to present the 2024 Felicia Holton Book Award to Mr. Andrew Lawler for his book Under Jerusalem, The Buried History of the World's Most Contested City, published by Doubleday in 2021. Mr. Lawler's skillful use of prose has made the book extremely engaging and enjoyable to read. This book provokes debate about the nature of archaeology, its past and its future, and how to tell its story in Jerusalem, all questions of interest to members of the greater archaeological community. Under Jerusalem presents an invaluable and endlessly thought-provoking resource, which will undoubtedly be used for decades to come. And for this reason, the AIA is pleased to recognize Mr. Andrew Lawler and the 2024 Felicia Holton Book Award. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Andrew Lawler for his fabulous achievement.
Greetings. I'm delighted and grateful to the AIA and the Center for American Archaeology for choosing Under Jerusalem for this year's Holton Award. Felicia Holton was a pioneering science journalist, and I'm honored to be associated with an award dedicated to her memory. Archaeology is a field that commands enormous attention among the public, and this award also serves as a reminder of the role that non-specialists can play in bringing its stories, warts and all, to this broader audience. Archaeologists don't just dig up the past, they shape the way we see the present and can alter the future. Jerusalem is a case in point. You can't separate politics and religion from excavations there. Those who searched underground helped spawn Zionism, the State of Israel, and the conflict now in the headlines. But since those early days, archaeology has also helped dismantle some of our illusions about this sacred place. I hope Under Jerusalem will inspire other storytellers to explore not just archaeological finds, but the impact they have on who we are and who we want to be. Thank you very much.
The Archaeological Institute of America and the Center for American Archaeology are pleased to present an honorable mention for the 2024 Felicia A. Holton Book Award to Dr. Nan A. Rothschild, Miss Amanda Supton, Dr. H. Arthur Bankhoff, and Dr. Jessica Streibel McLean for their book, Buried Beneath the City, An Archaeological History of New York. We have an under the city kind of theme going here. Published by Columbia University Press in 2022. Their book is an archaeological history of New York City beginning from the 12th millennium BCE and continuing to the end of the 19th century CE. It does a remarkable job treating a wide range of themes, demonstrating the great power of prehistoric and historical archaeology to produce rich and textured narratives of the 5 boroughs. It admirably educates its readers about the archaeological methods and what archaeologists do, and it makes excellent use of lavish color illustrations. The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to recognize Dr. Rothschild, Ms. Supton, Dr. Bankhoff, and Dr. McLean with the 2024 Felicia A. Holton Book Award honorable mention. Please join me in congratulating them on their incredible achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank the AIA on behalf of myself and my fellow writers, Nan Rothschild, Arthur Bankhoff, and Jessica Streibel McLean. We're very honored by this award. Thank you. I'd also like to thank our press, Columbia University Press, and the agency I work for, the Landmarks Preservation Commission. And I'd also like to use this opportunity that we all wanted to say how much we admire the AIA's role in public education and outreach. It's really something to admire. And finally, we do hope that our book leads to a greater appreciation of the archaeology and history of New York City and the world's other great urban centers. Thank you very much. Thank you, Laura, for presenting these awards, and congratulations to Mr. Lawler and Ms. Sutphin and her colleagues. I'll now have the honor of presenting the next award. This is the Anna Marguerite McCann Award for Fieldwork Reports. The Archaeological Institute of America is proud to award the 2024 Anna Marguerite McCann Award for Fieldwork Reports to the Kyrenia Ship, Final Excavation Report, Volume 1, History of the Excavation, Amphoras, Pottery, and Coins as Evidence for Dating, edited by Mrs. Susan W. Katsev and Dr. Helena W. Swinney, published by Oxbow Books in 2023. This publication is an exceptional volume that embodies the highest values and principles of archaeological publication and is deeply deserving of the 4th Anna Marguerite McCann Award for Fieldwork Reports. It not only excels as a model of multidisciplinary archaeological publication and how to present legacy data, but also gives greater access to this remarkable and unique shipwreck than ever before. For all these reasons, the AIA is delighted to bestow the 2024 Anna Marguerite McCann Award for Fieldwork upon Mrs. Susan W. Katsev and Dr. Helena Swinney. Please join me in congratulating them.
Go. If you excavate a site without publishing your results, you've destroyed it forever. My husband, Michael Katsev, took this very much to heart and was intending to report on every aspect of the Kyrenia ship excavation himself. A sudden stroke took his life in 2001, and only a few days later, Lena Wild Swinney phoned me to offer her help in seeing the ship finds to publication. She had been the architect for both summers of excavation, charged by Michael with recording each and every timber of the ancient ship. Her devotion to this publication has only increased with time, as we now work to publish 2 more concluding volumes. 32 authors in separate specialties offered their expertise to listen to their stories and bring back to life the captain and the 3 crew members who sailed this trading ship in the Eastern Mediterranean following the death of Alexander the Great. We all thank you for this honor.
It is indeed an honor to be the recipient of this award. I echo Susan Katsev and would like to thank the authors, researchers, original team members, and those who advised us in editing this, the first volume of the Kyrenia Ship publication. And to Susan for rekindling our friendship and the wonderful collaboration of the last 23 years. I also thank the directors of the Departments of Antiquities of the now divided island of Cyprus, who have allowed us to continue our researches on the ancient ship and its contents in the castle of Kyrenia. And there is more to do. One doesn't know what life will take you, where life will take you, but I have learned and strive, even now in my 80s, to do what Michael Katsev called a Parthenon job. It is particularly meaningful to me personally to receive the McCann Award, as Anna Marguerite and I participated in our first underwater excavation together near Taranto, Italy, in 1965, under the directorship of Peter Throckmorton, a pioneer in nautical archaeology. Thank you, Anna Marguerite. Thank you, Liz Green, and the Archaeological Institute of America.
I'd now like to invite Brian Daniels, First Vice President, to present our next award.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present the 2024 James R. Wiseman Book Award to Dr. Olivia Morgan for her book, Chaos 11, Wall Paintings and Social Context, The Northeast Bastion at AIA, published by Instop Academic Press in 2020. This monumental publication examines the late Bronze Age wall paintings from the North Bastion at AIA on the island of Kea. Dr. Morgan's study and presentation of fragments preserving images of people, animals, architecture, and landscapes allow her to reconstruct detailed and vibrant scenes of Cycladic life, thereby weaving a complex story of the interrelationships among island communities of the Aegean. In terms of trade and artistic traditions, this publication will prove to be an invaluable resource for decades to come, and the Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to recognize it with the 2024 James R. Wiseman Book Award. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Olivia Morgan.
A huge thank you to the AIA and to the committee for this award. I'm honoured and very happy indeed to receive this. It was a book that lived with me and within me for many years, decades even, and developed sometimes in unexpected ways during the process. When I was first invited to work on these paintings back in the 1980s, I was unprepared for what lay ahead. It's one thing working on paintings that are still attached to their walls, and quite another working with thousands of fragments long fallen from their walls. It was a long process, but one in which I learnt a great deal. I'm grateful to the late Elizabeth Schofield, then director of the excavations at AIA, for giving me the opportunity to work on the material, and to the Classics Department in the University of Cincinnati for all their support. As I gradually came to visualize the paintings by combining fragments, it became clear to me that I would need to get out my paintbrushes, unused for half a century. It was a joyous experience. At the same time, it was a fascinating process over the many years exploring the spatial and social contexts of the wall paintings. There are so many levels of discovery in such a project, and so many people to thank for their support and encouragement along the way. My acknowledgements are in the book, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank again Instap Academic Press and the generosity of Malcolm Weiner. A book is a book only once a publisher has brought it to fruition. Instap's expertise in working with a complex number of illustrations and a long text was extraordinary. Thank you.
Congratulations to Dr. Olivia Morgan, and I would now like to invite our Vice President for Research and Academic Affairs, Kim Shelton, to present the next 5 awards.
Thank you, Liz. Good evening, everyone. The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present the 2024 Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching Award to Dr. Sinclair Bell. As professor of art history at Northern Illinois University, go Huskies, Dr. Bell is a paragon of excellence in undergraduate teaching and is the rare sort of teacher who artfully combines accessibility, storytelling, passion, and mentorship with great rigor, high standards, deep learning, and individual research to promote student growth and discovery. He inspires the students to excel in his courses, to take more ancient art courses, and to go on excavations. And for all of these reasons and more, Dr. Sinclair Bell is the most worthy recipient of the Archaeological Institute of America's 2024 Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching Award. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Sinclair Bell.
Thank you so much. There are so many people to thank, but I just really need to focus on 2. More than 4 decades ago now, yikes, my parents remarkably decided to pack up our lives in the US and to move overseas. And by remarkable, I remind you that this was 1980, when international moves were akin to interstellar travel. Growing up in Saudi Arabia from age 8, I traveled around the Middle East, Mediterranean, and Northern Europe, visiting countless ancient sites that my parents had only read about and in which they were thrilled to experience at last. They were especially energized to share these with me in tow and patiently allowed me time to roam the ruins, leaping from empty statue base to statue base. For all 3 of us, it was the stories about Greek and Roman myths that we had read at bedtime that suddenly came to life. But just as my parents brought me along on every trip, sharing their infectious enthusiasm, they also took me along with them for rounds at work, in which I witnessed firsthand their deep devotion in caring for their patients. There I was witness to 1,000 acts of kindness, consolation, and care on their part, acts which empowered people, especially in the face of adversity. And so for sharing their love of the ancient world with me and for modeling the strength of kindness towards others, I want to dedicate this to my dear parents, Patricia and John. Thank you.
This year, the Archaeological Institute of America and the Archaeomusicology Interest Group are pleased to present 2 winners for the Telestes Award for Material Culture Research in Ancient Music and Dance, which is awarded to scholars who explore material evidence of music and dance and highlight how this evidence contributes to a deeper understanding of the cultural and social meanings and functions of music and dance within activities of ritual and everyday life.
The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to award the first of two 2024 AIA Telestes Awards for Material Culture Research in Ancient Music and Dance to Ms. Thaisa Martins Coelho dos Santos for her master's thesis. The Archaeomusicology Interest Group specifically chose Ms. Martins Coelho dos Santos's thesis, given that her transdisciplinary work is one of the most interesting research projects devoted to dance and archaeology of the last few years. Beyond approaching dance as an object of analysis in her study of the gopuras of the Templar complex of Chilia Natarasia, Ms. Martins Coelho dos Santos's research proposes that archaeology has much to gain working alongside the study of dance through a transdisciplinary perspective that considers the body to be material culture and a site of knowledge production and discourse through movement. For these reasons, the AIA is delighted to bestow Ms. Thaisa Martins Coelho dos Santos the 2024 Telestes Award for Material Culture Research in Ancient Music and Dance. Join me in congratulating the awardee.
Hello everyone, my name is Thaisa Martins. I'm from Brazil, from Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, and I'm here to express my gratitude for the award that I'm receiving from AIA. As a younger researcher, this means so much for me, for my career. I'm feeling really honored. So in my research, I'm studying dance sculptures in Chidambara Temple. I'm trying to connect with the Natya Shastra. That Shastra is a text from ancient time who describe performing arts in India. So I'm feeling really happy. I'm feeling very honored to be chosen for you guys. And I couldn't come to US because right now I'm doing my field research here in India. So this is it. Thank you so much.
The AIA is pleased to award the second of two 2024 AIA Telestes Awards for Material Culture Research in Ancient Music and Dance to Dr. Hassan Baran Ferit for his PhD thesis. The Archaeomusicology Interest Group specifically chose Dr. Firat's thesis, given that his work is one of the most groundbreaking pieces of research in recent years devoted to the application of soundscape studies in history. His dissertation focuses on the intersection of soundscape, sensory history, virtual reality, and architectural acoustics, opening up new possibilities in virtual reality to recreate past worlds. While some research methods have been applied to historical soundscape reconstructions, this study seeks to create a more concrete and better established framework to reconstruct past auditory environments in a multidisciplinary way through a physically based modeling approach. In addition, the study tries to expand sensory history studies to digital heritage studies and aims to improve our understanding of the past through direct experience. For all these reasons, the Archaeological Institute of America is delighted to bestow on Dr. Hassan Baran Ferit a 2024 AIA Telestes Award for Material Culture Research in Ancient Music and Dance. Join me in congratulating Dr. Ferit.
Dear esteemed members of Archaeological Institute of America, esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests. It is with deep gratitude and profound sense of honor that I stand before you today as the recipient of the 2024 AIA Telestes Award for Material Culture Research in Ancient Music and Dance. I am sincerely humbled to be recognized for my doctoral thesis. Firstly, I wish to extend my heartfelt thanks to Archaeological Institute of America and all the members of the Archaeomusicology Interest Group for acknowledging my research in such a significant manner. This endeavor was not a solitary pursuit, it was nurtured and shaped by the collaboration and support of many. Therefore, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to my mentors, peers, and the entire research community who have guided and inspired me throughout this journey. Once again, I'm deeply honored to receive this prestigious award, and I'm excited about the future prospects this recognition brings. Thank you for this incredible honor.
The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to award the first prize for the 2023 Graduate Student Paper Award to Ms. Emily Moore from Duke University for the paper entitled Nicandre Who Contends with Men, a reconsideration of Nicandre's dedication on Delos, presented at last year's annual meeting. The Graduate Student Paper Award Committee
I was particularly impressed with the originality of research in offering a new translation and interpretation of this sculpture and its inscription. The suggestion of a broadened, less rigidly defined view of gender roles in early archaic Greece is an important contribution to the field, and the author's use of interdisciplinary evidence, including architectural context, sculptural styles, and epigraphic forms, is commendable. We are delighted to honor Ms. Moore with the first prize for the 2023 Graduate Student Paper Award. Join me in congratulating her.
Thank you to the AIA and the Award Committee for this generous recognition of my research in its early stages. For the last 2 years, I've had the privilege of working alongside friends, colleagues, and mentors at the American School in Athens, and I extend my heartfelt thanks to each of them for their intellectual curiosity and camaraderie. Without the encouragement of Kate Morgan, and especially the late Sharon James, this project would not exist. It also benefited greatly from the expertise of Joe Day. I remain deeply indebted to the advice and continued support of Kathy Kiesling and Sheila Dillon, who, like Nicandre, are distinguished among others. Thank you very much.
The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to award an honorable mention for the 2023 Graduate Student Paper Award to Ms. Bridget Keslinki from the University of Pennsylvania for her paper, Consuming the State, the Topography of Food Security in 2nd Century CE Rome, presented at last year's annual meeting. The paper presented a fresh look at the spaces in the city of Rome that were integral to the food security of the population of the capital. The award committee was particularly impressed with the authoritative and mature presentation of the research, as well as the dexterous handling of questions at the end of the talk, and commended the presentation as a model for others to follow. We're delighted to honor Ms. Keslinki with an honorable mention for the 2023 Graduate Student Paper Award. Please join me in congratulating her.
Thank you so much. The AIA and the annual meeting in particular has played a formative role in my academic and professional life. It was the first conference I ever attended, and I have to say I'm glad it was San Diego and not Boston during the infamous bomb cyclone. It's also where I gave my first paper, and as I'm sure many of you do, I look forward every year to catching up with friends and colleagues, old and new. It's also consistently been a place where I feel comfortable exploring ideas and sharing my work, and the paper I gave last year is a perfect example of that. It started out as a final paper in a seminar on Roman topography. I'd like to express my deep gratitude to the AIA for supporting graduate student research, both in the context of the annual meeting and beyond. And finally, and most especially, I'd like to thank the Graduate Student Paper Award Committee for this award and for their time and consideration in the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, and congratulations to Professor Bell, Ms. Martins, Dr. Firat, Ms. Moore, and Ms. Keslinke. I now would like to invite Sabrina Higgins, Vice President for Societies, to present the next 2 awards.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. This year, the Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present 2 winners for the Martha and Artemis Joukowsky Distinguished Service Award, which is awarded to the AIA members who, through their sustained and exceptional volunteer efforts, have furthered the work of the Institute and increased public awareness of our mission. The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present one of the 2024 Martha and Artemis Joukowsky Distinguished Service Awards to Mr. Charlie Steinmetz. Mr. Steinmetz has been active for several decades in a variety of leadership roles, promoting archaeology in his Los Angeles County community in the wider United States and abroad. His example and encouragement have also attracted many of his friends and neighbors into supporting archaeology, whether at UCLA or through the AIA and its programs. Mr. Steinmetz's vision, energy, and leadership in education, especially through archaeology, is one of his defining characteristics, and he enthusiastically dedicates his financial resources and personal energies towards the benefits of archaeology. His devotion to the AIA Los Angeles County Society for several decades has been singular, and he's actively promoted archaeology for the AIA locally and nationally for well over 2 decades. Mr. Steinmetz is richly deserving of one of this year's Martha and Artemis Joukowsky Distinguished Service Awards for his distinguished service to the Archaeological Institute of America. Please join me in congratulating him.
This is a terrific honor because everybody else had to work for their award. I just got to have fun. I really want to thank the professional archaeologists that have been so kind to me, so patient with me, and taught me so much, and allowed me to bring my friends into the big tent that you guys all live in. This is terrific. Thank you very much.
The Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present the second of the 2024 Martha and Artemis Joukowsky Distinguished Service Awards to Dr. Andrew Goldman. Dr. Goldman has been a dedicated officer of the AIA Spokane Society since 2006, serving as president for many years. Under Andrew's leadership, the Spokane Society has been one of AIA's most active societies, holding full slate of lectures, both national and local, as well as public events for a wide audience each year. In addition to its lectures, the Society works closely with local organizations and museums, particularly the Northwest Museum of Arts and Cultures, to provide rich educational opportunities for its members and for its city. For his dedication and distinguished service, the Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present one of this year's Martha and Artemis Joukowsky Distinguished Service Awards to Dr. Andrew Goldman.
Thank you very much. I'm really deeply and truly honored by this award and by the consideration for me. And it's an honor in particular to share a stage tonight with Charlie Steinmetz and to join what is a truly distinguished list of past winners, many of whom were mentors and friends of mine, including both past President Jim Russell. So I'm deeply honored to be counted among their members. It's a little premature, I guess. This evening, I was elected to the AIA board as a trustee. So it does feel a little premature. They don't let you go easily, but I'm very honored to continue to serve the AIA in the years to come. I come from a long family history of public service, and I've tried to keep up that commitment. My parents and relatives have served on philanthropic boards, have been heads of professional groups, firefighters have also served as judges. So this has seemed very natural to me to spend my time and energy working for the AIA. But one thing I've learned from all this is that it's around a great many people who helped you to do this. And while I would like to thank a number of people who have really made this possible. First of all, the Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture, who have supported me for many, many years. I'd like to thank the board of the Spokane AIA 511, my collaborators and friends who have been so generous with their time and support to the local AIA Society. I very much would like to thank my wife, Amy, who has been very patient with me over the years as I've disappeared to give lectures across the country, and my colleagues at Gonzaga University, who have quietly covered my back as I've slipped away mid-semester to speak in Ohio and various other places. All of these wonderful people have done a tremendous job to make this possible, and they really received the award this evening. Finally, I'd just like to say, support your local society. It means a lot. Your support is very important. Volunteer. You will find it rewarding. I certainly have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sabrina, and for presenting these awards, and congratulations to Mr. Steinmetz and Dr. Goldman. I now invite Brian Daniels, First Vice President, to return to the podium to present the next award.
In recognition of her distinguished record of contributions to the advancement of archaeological science, the Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to present Professor Deborah M. Pearsall the 2024 Pomerantz Award for Scientific Contributions to Archaeology. Professor Pearsall's decades-long career focused on the fields and application of ethnobiology and paleoethnobotany. Her work has substantially rewritten how we understand plant domestication and use in South and Central America, and has been key in developing ethnobotanical techniques and interdisciplinary strategies for studying plant remains from archaeological contexts. From her book, Paleoethnobotany, a handbook of procedures, to her service as president for the Society of Ethnobiology, to establishing and running an online phytolith database, Professor Pearsall is a pioneer responsible for developing and building an important area of archaeological science practice. For these reasons, the Archaeological Institute of America is pleased to bestow on Professor Deborah M. Pearsall the 2024 Pomerantz Award for Scientific Contributions to Archaeology. Please join me in congratulating her.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deborah Pearsall, and I am very pleased and honored to accept the Pomerantz Award for Scientific Contributions to Archaeology. I'm a paleoethnobotanist and studied my first archaeological plant remains as a graduate student, and am just finishing up another project now in my 10th year of retirement. That's too many archaeologists to thank for entrusting their materials to me over the years. So I would just like to say again, I am very honored to accept this award, and I commend the Archaeological Institute of America for their focus on honoring those of us who contribute to interdisciplinary approaches in this field. Your support is very important for our field moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and congratulations to Dr. Pearsall. It's now my honor to present our final award. The Archaeological Institute of America is proud to award the 2024 Gold Medal Award for Distinguished Archaeological Achievement to Professor John McKay Camp II. Professor Camp has had an extraordinary impact on the field of Greek archaeology. As an author and a researcher, his works remain essential reading for the interested public, for faculty, and for students alike. In his capacity as the director of the Agora excavations, he made an enormous contribution, including not only running the expansive excavation and curating its finds, but also engaging a wide variety of experts to study the material, contributing to timely publication. Professor Camp's contribution to the field also includes an unparalleled teaching record. Over the course of his career, he trained hundreds of students in the skills they need for future research and teaching, as well as sharing with them his remarkable knowledge of and delight in Greece, both ancient and modern. His teaching and outreach continue now through a very active schedule of lecturing and collaborative work around the world. For all of these reasons, he has richly earned the highest honor the AIA can bestow, the Gold Medal Award for Distinguished Archaeological Achievement. Please join me in congratulating Professor John Camp.
Thank you very much. It's, of course, a huge honor to be the gold medal by the AIA. My association goes back to 1964, when I first attended a lecture by Frank Walton on the treasures in the Anonymous Library. In 1965, I attended my first archaeological meeting in Providence, Rhode Island. And in the 60 that we've had since then, I have been to 55 of them. So I'm just about at the end of that aspect of my life. But certainly it would take and did take the gold medal to get me to come back to Chicago in the winter. All I want to do is thank various people for this great award and for making it possible. And many of them will take forever to read, but to acknowledge some very important help I have had along the way. The first being Dr. Elizabeth Fisher, my wife and colleague, who has taken care the contemporary family and had her own full and productive archaeological career, both as an excavator and as the Arts College with an unbelievable teaching load. I know nobody who has taught the major courses she has, and my first and greatest yet, go to her. I would also briefly, but definitely wholeheartedly, thank Dr. David Becker and the foundation that he has built up, the Packard Humanities Institute, for unbelievable support for many decades of the archaeological work done in the Athenian Agora. From there, I will move briefly to roots. The teachers who taught me, beginning with Mary Elliott in the fourth grade at Shady Hill School. There are certain questions you get over and over again. What is the most exciting thing you've ever found? And why and when did you want to become an archaeologist? Well, the answer was Mary Elliott when I was 10 years old. My older sister also went into the study of antiquity. My younger sister did not, and left that school before she got to the fourth grade and moved on to other schools. Was not an archaeologist at all, though an extremely accomplished individual in many other ways. In addition to teachers, there are collaborators and colleagues, and I hope some of you saw the events held in my honor this afternoon. It was an outstanding indication of just how high quality we have amongst the people we work with on a daily basis. It is a great honor. There are too many to name, just as there are too many to name the students who have made a huge impression on me all through my life. And that includes, I counted them up, but we're not going to have their names. But there are about 200 graduate students at the American School of Classical Studies. There were 1,000 in the excavations of the Athenian Agora, and about 600 from college year in Athens and Randolph-Macon College. I owe something to practically everyone of those outstanding and enthusiastic students. It has been an honor and a pleasure to excavate and to teach for all these many years. And I thank you so much for this award.
Before I conclude this year's awards ceremony, I want to recognize the Society Award winners who were formally celebrated at this year's Society Breakfast on January 5th. They include the Washington, D.C. Society for the Local Society Website Contest, the Richmond Society for the Lecture Flyer and Poster Contest, and the Spokane Society for the Social Media Contest. I'd also like to thank the committee chairs for their work in making these selections. This is really one of our most joyful events. So with these final awards, we've come to the end of the 2024 AIA Awards Ceremony. And I'd like to thank you all for attending tonight's celebration in person here in Chicago or virtually over Zoom. Before we all depart, however, if you're interested in supporting the Institute further, I encourage you to consider a gift to the annual fund, which provides resources for archaeologists and projects like the ones you've heard about this evening. You can donate online at archaeological.org/donate. I hope that all of our winners will stay for a little bit afterwards so that we can have a group photo. And now I ask that you all please join me in a final round of applause for all of our spectacular winners. Congratulations to all.